getting ready for the week. I just have that question. I want to put it out there. I hope our lawmakers are having this thought. And this is starting to become just a little too normal, a little too regular. But some bank employee's husband got up this morning, somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, and went to work, to the bank. Boring. 9 to 3. Remember banker's hours? And they won't be going home. And then we have a 26-year-old kid, could be my child. Good God, that's scary. Um, Sworn into the police department on March 31st, shot in the head because he is doing what he swore to do, protect and serve. And instead, we are banning drugs that are used in the care of women and their OBGYN needs. We're on a tear to limit people's rights to healthcare, women in particular. So we have pro life people who are on a tier to protect unborn fetuses, to ensure women don't have the right to protect their bodies and their health. But these same people are pro guns. I'm sorry. What are we trying to do? Have babies to make them part of the new statistic that says 1 in 25 kindergarten today will not grow up to be 40 years old because they will most likely die from gun violence. Okay, is this the new America? Is this what a developed nation looks like? Is this progress? I'm going to leave it there because I'm tired of it. I am frustrated. I am becoming frightened that at any moment I could become a statistic. What is happening? I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to invite lawmakers to come on and let's talk about how we can get to a solution. How can we make a change? Because, yes, I'm not here to just talk for the sake of talking. I would like to invite those who would like to have something done differently to take a stand, to get engaged, get involved, and get out there and do something about it. Okay? Okay, Tennessee, you do not get a gold star because you reinstated one of the two young black men that you expelled last week. No, you don't. I just say, oh, great, you're reading the headlines and realized you made a bad move. This is a democratic nation. What in God's name is going on? Yes, I'm going to start with what's going on. I'm going to end with what's going on. But this does not look like a democracy to me. And if these open carry states don't see that more guns is not the answer, then yeah, like the governor of Louisville said today, or rather Kentucky said today, um, one of his best friends was shot down and killed. Maybe he'll become a lawmaker that makes a difference. Maybe he'll have a different voice at the end of this. I am so sorry for the families that are mourning the loss of their loved ones. I am so sorry for this rash of crime in the nation. And for those who are injured, we just pray that you will recover from the injuries and get on to live a productive and as normal as possible a life. We pray. You're watching Living Life Authentically. Yes, I am Natalie B. McKenzie, and we're with the Whole Woman. Today, however, we're going to talk with someone who's got a little more light and happiness to bring to the table. He documents amazing events that are happening around us of great people. He's known as photographer to the stars. He's proven himself as one of Hollywood's best kept secrets. And with over 40 years of documenting key moments and tastemakers in hip hop, he has a portfolio that exceeds many of his predecessors. He was born to a musical family. And how about he's not just an amazing photographer, but he was also a musician, still is a musician, and had his own music group called the Seduction Band. Help me welcome today's guest, ladies and gentlemen, so he can tell us a little bit more about himself, none other than Mr. Ronnie Wright.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody. I'm so privileged and proud to be here today. Thank you.
Ronnie, what a pleasure. I've heard about you for years, and I have to tell you, our executive producer, Deidre Tate, raves about you. And one day I'll be lucky enough to sit on the other side of your lens. Welcome to Living Life Authentically, and we're delighted to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm blessed. I'm just glad God let me be another day. Thank you.
Awesome. Ronnie, tell me a little bit about this man that would grow up to document such amazing stories, such famous people for 40 years. You don't even look like you're 40, so we're going to back up on that. But tell us a
It's a
little
little
bit
more than
about
40, but I'm
yourself.
just gonna let it be at that.
It's a little more.
Well, I grew up in Harlem. I'm born and bred in Harlem, and I I just everybody was fascinated with music back in the late '60s and stuff like that. The Temptations. I listened to the Beatles. I listened to everybody. So that's where my influences came from. And my father, he was kind of like a vaudeville tap dance and stuff. He was friends with Sammy Davis Jr.'s fathers and a couple other
Oh,
people. My mother, she was a gifted pianist, and she played the harp and piano, and I think she played every instrument. She was the prince of that
wait a
day.
minute. You said your mom played the harp, and I'm assuming your mom is a Black woman,
Yes, she is.
and she played the harp.
Yes.
Now
She
that
used to We used to go to our aunt's house and they had a harp, and my mother got on there one day and played. She never told us she could do this. And she started playing. I was like, what? And then we found out she could play the piano. And here we are, four younger siblings. We can't do nothing. I mean, we could sing. We sing together as well. And my mother was like an angel. I was like, what is this?
Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the family dynamics where you have this angelic mom that plays the harp and multiple instruments that you didn't even know about, the tap dancing dad who's friends with Sammy Davis Jr.'s dad. Tell us a little bit about growing up in this family and in Harlem at this time.
Okay, wait. Let me give you this. Now, we grew up in Sugar Hill on 151st Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. And my grandmother lived right across the street. Now, listen, she was a manicurist on 135th Street, right across from the Y back in the day. And her clients were like Dinah Washington and the Mills Brothers, Pearl Bailey, and all of them. So my mother and father used to have card games in our apartment on Friday night and Saturday nights.
Mhm.
And the people that used to come to the house that my father and my mother were friends with was like Red Fox, Slappy White,
Oh,
Nipsey
geez, just
Russell,
name drop. Why don't you?
Miles Mabley. If I had a camera then, I would be so up there right now. But I was like, you know how they used to we had a big apartment. We had like 4 bedrooms, and it was like a long hallway down to the living room. We used to peek out. My mom was like, y'all stay in the room and watch TV and blah blah blah. So we would hear them talking and stuff like that. And I mean, like we knew who they were. We were young, but like I said, if I had a camera then, girl,
That's
it
exciting.
would have been more to me than this.
Tell me about the siblings because you mentioned having a few siblings there.
Well,
And
six of us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's six of us. Um, 4 boys and 2 girls.
Mhm.
I was in the middle. I was the third child, and my older brother and sister they had moved on and got married and stuff like that. So it was like four of us coming up, and we had a good time. We did what kids did, you know.
Wow, that sounds exciting. Hey, Miss Ellie, thank you for watching. Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while. I know you were traveling all around to Greece, Miss Ellie. Welcome back. So, Ronnie, tell me more because now that you find out your mom is musical and you kids are all singing along, tell me about some of the trouble you got into and Sugar Hill, Harlem back in the day. Wow.
I became interested in singing. I studied the stylistics, temptation, stuff like that. So I had that falsetto in me. So that was my gift, and I ran with my gift. And during the time we was growing up on 151st Street, I had a little group, man. It was like five of us, and we would do, that's during the days of the Jackson Five, the early I Want You Back and stuff like that. So we would mimic them, and we went on, and we even went to the Apollo on one amateur night,
Oh, look at
and
you.
like I think in 1970, and it was just beautiful being around that time because like living in Sugar Hill was just like, wow, this is it. I didn't know about Brooklyn and the Bronx and stuff. I just thought it was like where we lived, that was it.
It's the
Unless
center of
we
the world.
unless we went to Coney Island or Palisades or something, and I didn't know it was nothing beyond that.
Okay, so you're into music, you're singing with your siblings, singing with your group, you're imitating Jackson 5. What else were you getting into? Were you involved in any other extracurricular activities? And what type of student were you?
Um, I played sports. I played for the Henry Hudson Little League from age 9 through 11, and I played basketball. I'm from like the battlegrounds up there, and right across the street was our park called the Battlegrounds, and I learned how to play ball there. And I thought I was like the little Magic Johnson or something like that. But living uptown just gave me the incentive. I can do more. I can go on and continue to be somebody. And I've always had that incentive to do it.
Fabulous. So here you are living in Harlem. Um, until you were about 9 or 11 years old, you're playing sports, you're singing your heart out. It's the center of the world. You've got Dinah Washington and all these amazing stars in and out your mom's and dad's place. Tell me about going off to high school and what you were like in high school, and where were you living at that time when you went off to high school?
Okay. Well, my junior high school, I went to up to seventh grade at Stitt Junior High School up in Harlem. And my mother said that we was going to move. We had went down south every summer for the vacation and stuff like that. So she said we gonna move down to South Carolina. I was like, what? I mean, I like going down there every summer, but when she said we was moving, I was like, oh Lord, that's it. But it was a good time that she made that move because the drug population was so big. Like I used to go to PS 186, which was on 145th Street. And on my way to school, we would just see junkies all over the place. And it was just like, sometimes me and my sister was scared to go to school,
Oh,
because we would
wow.
bump into them until one day, this little guy named Pee Wee, he hit me up and took my little lunch money. I had about $1.50 or something. He took it and I was so mad. I didn't know whether to beat him up right then or just keep walking. So I gave it to him. And that kind of like shattered my dream. But the next time I saw him, he went for it. I went for him.
Oh.
We was like the same size. I whooped his ass. Oh, excuse me. I whooped his ass. But I was like, you ain't gonna take my money, man, because I enjoy what I did. That's when we was buying the little milk and cookies and stuff like that. But like just growing up in Harlem was just a beautiful thing.
Wow. So tell me about being in South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, Harlem, great to visit in the summers, but what was that like
Okay,
and
that
how
that
did
was
you
that was a
adapt?
crazy transition. Like I wasn't ready for it. So when I got down there and got to high school, um, everybody found out I was from New York, so I was being challenged. So I had the countryest dudes in the world. They wanted to challenge me because they wanted to see what this city boy knew. But I've always knew how to fight and take care of myself and stuff like that. So when I got down there, I had to prove myself. So I had to fight. They would bring these guys from like it's a place in Greenville, well in South Carolina called Panama Mountain, and they would bring these dudes down to fight me.
Huh?
And I got beat one time by this guy named Bruce Jenkins. After that, the rest was history, baby. Nobody messed with me no more.
Wait, so did you have some kung fu skills or something? I mean, where
Well,
did
I
you
had
go?
I had a cousin that taught martial arts while I was down there, and I joined the martial arts class down there. And over the years, like I think like in '73, I started doing that up until now, which I'm still involved in martial arts. And I just taught myself how to fight. And I've always had my own back.
So, how many years did you spend in South Carolina? Did you finish high school there?
Yeah, I stayed until I finished. I finished in '77, and after I graduated I went to Carolina High School for 3 years, and I graduated from another high school, which was Southside High School. And after that, I had an older sister in New York, and she was like, "Well, when you finish, why don't you come on up here? Ask Daddy, is it cool for you to come up here, and we all go to Manhattan Community College together." I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
"Okay," so I applied for Manhattan Community College, got accepted. When I came to New York to stay with my sister in 1978, she and I and my niece, we all went to BMCC together.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell me what did you study then? What were your interests?
I
Because
studied anthropology and my minor was music, and I meant to do it the other way around, but the reason I got into anthropology, I think I saw this girl that I liked, and she was in that class, and I was like, I'm going there. So I went there, and I kind of dug it. Anthropology was something else, man. And I had this weird teacher. She was like a hippie, but yeah, I stuck it out. I didn't finish Manhattan Community College. I stayed for a year and a half. Then I got involved in music. I had
Mm.
a young lady in my class, Denise Smith, and she had a group called Seduction Band, and she was the drummer. So she knew I was a singer for some reason. I must have had a singing course in there too. And she said, "Come on, join the band." So we all got together, and she introduced me to the band, and we started rehearsing in my basement, which was on where I live with my sister, and we practiced, and we started getting little gigs around town. And eventually, we did a couple of gigs, and Denise eventually dropped out and left me in charge of the group. So I
Mm.
became the leader of Seduction Band. So I had like an 8-piece band and like two young ladies singing with me, and the rest is history, man. So we started playing around clubs like the Cellar. We played McKell's. No, we didn't play McKell's. We played Under the Stairs. We played Leviticus. We played Pegasus. A couple other places. So I was glad I came back to New York because I found my niche. I found what I wanted to do,
Hmm.
and reluctantly, hey, there it was.
So here you are finding your rhythm, no pun intended, with your band, Seduction Band.
Uh,
When did you get into photography?
that was in high school when I was still in South Carolina. So in like my 11th grade year, my mother she was a photographer in our family, other than playing all the instruments. Um, I picked it up. I just started taking pictures, and that's with that little point and shoot camera, that little Kodak that you put that little square bulb on.
Uh-huh.
And one thing just led to another. So in my endeavors as I went on, I've always had a camera with me. So I started documenting things, and my first music uh probably came in like 75. I started shooting Parliament Funkadelic when they would come to Greenville, and Boosie and them like that. So I hadn't met them yet, but I would shoot the concerts and start building my repertoire. And then one thing led to another, and here I am 46 years later, photographer to the stars.
Wow.
Just to sum it up.
So tell me, 45 years ago, 40 years ago, 44 years ago, who was that first notable you photographed that put you, let's say, on the map?
So many people ask me that, and it was a joke going around with the publicists at the record company saying one day you're gonna see Michael Jackson and you're gonna have to shoot him. You ain't gonna have your camera. Lo and behold, that did happen one day. Laverne Perry used to work at Sony. She called me and told me that she wanted me to shoot Michael or something like that. I didn't have my camera, but Lord, I'll tell you one thing: I found one. I went and got it. And I think that was like, but before Michael, it was like the funk. I was heavy into the funk. I was shooting the
Mhm.
Barcades, Parliament Funkadelic, Confunction, um, the time when they came out, all them groups like that.
Oh,
So it evolved into the hip hop, and hey,
so let me ask you this, Ronnie. How did you and when did you decide to really monetize this? And when did you realize this was your real career?
I think back like the early '80s, I would go to the Fever. Well, one of my guitar players was Melvin Coombs, who was good friends with Grandmaster Flash and them like that. So after we would, practice and rehearse and stuff, we would go up to the Fever, Disco Fever, and I would see the Fat Boys and Kumo D and everybody up there and stuff like that. I didn't have my camera with me then, but then the next time I went, I took it, and things just started happening. I started like I didn't see nobody shooting. I mean, it was guys there shooting, but I took it on myself. I wasn't even paying them guys no attention. I was shooting and getting, pictures myself. And I said, this is pretty good. Like I just, I guess, like a lot of people in the ministry and stuff like that, they say God led them to this. I guess God told me to pick up that camera and said, shoot this, my son. And things just started happening. I just like played it by ear.
Tell me some of your exciting moments because I cannot imagine shooting Michael Jackson. And then, what have you done with your photographs over time? Have you
Um,
created a book or anything?
it's so well anyway, doing my come up in the early 80s and stuff like that, I started shooting for different magazines like Right On, Word Up, Black Beat, Spice, The Source. I think I shot for every major black magazine that had artists in there. And I would shoot the pictures and send it to them, get the artists on the covers and stuff like that. So when Biggie said I used to read Word Up magazine, Heavy D and all them. So myself and my friends Ernie Pinicoli and Tony Cuttajaw, we were the photographers for that magazine. And when we heard that, we felt Biggie was paying homage to us. We felt like, we did something and somebody noticed it.
Wow.
And we didn't know, like, as we continue to be photographers, we didn't know down the line that we would get to this day where we were documentarians and we really discovered and started shooting history, you know.
I see in your bio, excuse me, that you were engaged by BET to be one of their lead photographers. Tell me about that experience and during that hip hop explosion. Here we are celebrating 50 years of hip hop.
Okay, the BET situation came when I was called from MCA and Arista to go up to 106 and Park with Whitney and Bobby. I didn't even know 106 and Park was on the air. And so I did it. I went up there. My friend Penny Mack, who's a good friend of mine, and Dietrich's, and she was like, she's the executive producer. So she called me that night and said that I'm glad you came up. We need a house photographer. We can't pay you right now, but the house is yours. So I mean, you can get stuff and blah blah blah. We can do this, and just come on and be on. So I didn't have but 2 minutes to think about it. I was like, I'm on. I'm ready. Because before that, the record companies was renting out studios where we would go and shoot the artists. We would have like Maya or whoever the artist was at that point to
Mhm.
come there, and we would shoot them there. So now, me being at BET, everybody came there. So I was like, Eureka, why not? Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. So that was the best thing, So Penny and Stephen Hill was like, hey, this is the house. So when I got to BET, nobody there knew, only a few people knew me. So the producers then was giving me hell, like, like, who is this? Like I just showed up and I started maneuvering myself around the cameras to get them pivotal moments to catch the artists, in different forms. And I spent 14 years at BET.
I guess they figured out who
And
you are.
I think I captured everything. So when the artists did come there, and the producers then was like, how come he knows everybody? Because I was already in show business and people knew me. And, I had already been shooting the artists that was coming through there. They was glad I was there.
Wow.
So I was like, it's all God. I'm like, thank you.
So, Ronnie, I want to know a little bit more about this magical mother of yours and your great dad. But other than your mom, who is the family photographer, who really inspires you or inspired your professional photography?
She did.
She
And
did.
my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he was a photographer too, but he wasn't like, like getting out there doing that. He would shoot things and stuff like that. But my mother, she was the matriarch of the family. So she kept the family together, where we'd be in Greenville or New York or whatever. She kept it together. I don't know. It was just an ordained thing that, the camera was it landed in my hand.
Wow. And you point and shoot and you document it.
Yep. But it was funny because I stuck with it. It was something that I took on, besides singing and stuff like that. I just took on that entity and did it. And oh my God, it was just phenomenal.
Tell me
And I
about,
thought that was my niche and my calling.
Ronnie, what do you have upcoming? Do you have anything where you're going to showcase the best of Ronnie Wright, the best of the photographer to the stars? What do you have to share with us? Because 46 years is a long
I
time.
was waiting for this. Well, we're in the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So what I'm doing now, um, I'm showing my perspective of my hip hop photography, and I thought being the 50th anniversary, I was like, Eureka again. I was like, why not? And then just so happens I got two friends of mine that have been pushing me to like do this all along. I mean, everybody's been asking me when you're gonna do your thing. So my good friend Kevin Logan, who worked with me up at 106 and Park, he's always been my backbone, pushing me like, Ronnie, you got to do this. So he helped me up with a friend of his, Steve Thompson, and we all had a big meeting and got together and said, well, let's do this 50th anniversary hip hop from your perspective. So I was like, cool, let's do it. So we got together and we met another friend through another friend, a guy named Anton, who's a chef out in Long Island, and he's into the music. He manages a lot of groups. So we went down to Brooklyn and met a young man that has a spot down in Brooklyn, small space. But he was like, if you guys would like, I mean, this would be your room. And we thought about it and we got back to him and we set it up. And so the week of my birthday is April 15th.
All right.
That's a
Tax
phenomenal
day.
year. That's not only that, that's like my pinnacle year where I'm going to be like 65 years old. And I can't believe I made it this far. And I praise
Wow.
the Lord and thank him for that. And so we're going to put all this in conjunction with this photo exhibit, which starts on the 16th and the 17th throughout the rest of the week. And it's going to be my perspective on, what makes me different from other photographers, that I've got a chance to shoot the pioneers. I got a chance to work with Lena Horne, Cab Calloway, Barry White, Michael Jackson, Prince, and so many other people. And these are magical moments. And it's just the pinnacle of my life right now. So I'm just like, I'm thanking all my friends who signed on and want to come out and see this and support me. And I thank them throughout the years. I also like to thank my family, my wife and my kids for putting up with all the photo shoots I had to go to. And I used to drag my kids to my photo shoots. I even let my youngest daughter, who's now 25, I let her do the honors in shooting, what's his name? Look like Chris Rock. I'm getting a blank.
Kevin Hart.
No, the younger guy. Well, anyway, she got to shoot him, and I let my kids come on and they did some shooting too.
Awesome.
So
I
they
just
got
want you to know, while you were talking, I put my camera up because I wanted to scan that barcode so I could get the details on that event
oh
coming
yeah,
up.
and my kids got a chance to meet a lot of people. They got to meet Beyonce, they got to meet Bow Wow, they got to meet B2K, and so many. So like when we was growing up, we didn't have all that. So my kids, being that I was their father, they got lucky. I took a picture backstage at 106 in Park with Angela Bassett and who played Ike Turner? What's his name? Larry Fishburne.
Mm.
Larry said, bring the kids over. He picked up my son and put him on his lap. And Angela had my two daughters in between them. They don't know what that picture meant to me.
Oh,
For my kids to be in there with them, that was a moment that I was like, thank you, man. It was just
Ronnie,
so
wait a
nice.
minute. We're talking about your kids, and we haven't even talked about that part of your life. We've
I'm
got a few
sorry.
minutes left. That's okay. We've got a few minutes left. We love to hear all about the family. Tell me about your family, getting married, your kids. How many children do you have?
Well, I got married in 1993. I have 5 children altogether. I have 3 by my wife. Um, the ages range from 45, 35, 29, 25, and my baby boy will be 22 in May.
Oh,
And they had a illustrious life, like the dad. Sometimes I
fun.
tell them to Google me to find out who I really am.
Ronnie, I
They
love
don't,
it.
they don't even know.
You are so humble. You're so understated. And Deidre Tate have talked about you so much. I am so glad I got a chance to meet you a few weeks ago when we celebrated Deidre's birthday. But I'm humbled that you would take the time to sit and chat with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with Ronnie Wright, photographer to the stars. And mark your calendar because April 11th through the 17th, did I get the dates right?
No, April 17th
17th
through the
through the
20th.
21st. Yeah, I had a dyslexic
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
17th through the 21st at C&K Art Gallery in Brooklyn, New York. You will see Ronnie's take, and it's called The Right Time. Is that what it is, Ronnie? The
Yes,
Right
it is the right
Time.
time.
Awesome. Deidre, can we put that barcode back up on the screen so our viewers can scan and get details on how they can attend? In the meantime, Ronnie, tell us, where can we find you? How do we stay in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram at Ronnie Wright One. I'm on Facebook as Ronnie Wright. I'm sure they'll find out who I am there. I'm on TikTok, Ronnie Wright 62. Um, you'll find me. I'm there.
I love it. So Ronnie Wright, and when you find him on social media, it's WRIGHT,
Right.
and it's Ronnie Wright one on IG, Ronnie Wright on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah.
And he's also on TikTok, which I still haven't ventured into. So God bless you. It's Ronnie Wright 62. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with a photographer to the stars, and it's the right time. Exhibit will be shown April 17th through the 21st. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining
Another,
us.
another day. Praise the Lord. I appreciate every day that I breathe air. I love
You
it.
are such a humble and kind, gentle soul. It's an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure to talk with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, here at The Whole Woman, we have so many great things that are happening. We get to talk with people like Ronnie, and we get to share his story and the fact that he'll be documenting his photographs and his life's career in Brooklyn on April 17th through the 21st. Well, over in the whole woman world, we have our spring summer retreat coming up. Remember, a few weeks ago, we told you we shifted the date so there'd be more time for more of you to join us. And so we could do it with warmer weather in our favorite spot, Cape May, New Jersey. So stay tuned. There'll be more information. But in the meantime, send me a DM, send us an email, like us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and just DM us for more information. Remember, it's a private event. We accept 15 to 20 women at the most. And we already have a wait list of those who usually join us. It will be June 23rd through the 26th in Cape May, New Jersey. That's our retreat where we will be renewing, resetting, and recalibrating. This season of rebirth, what a great time to take a moment to reset and just reconnect with self. I'm Natalie B. McKenzie, and you're watching Living Life Authentically. Our guest today was none other than Ronnie Wright. I wish you enough life to live, enough joy to give,